What's up, my sexy little Sudachis? This is Rob from the Gay Guy Plays, and today on Dress to Kill, we're finally taking a closer look at Miss Titania Prime. Now, as always, I've prepped 3 different customizations for your inspiration. Then we'll be taking a look at different armor sets and Syandanas, and which ones I feel personally pair well with her. And last but not least, by popular demand, I will be swapping a little bit of head, as well as some body to boot, to see which alternate helms and skins actually fit. But before we do, I have a little bit of an announcement. As many of you guys have seen, the channel releases have been a little bit sporadic, and that's mainly because of the fact that about a month ago I was offered a position that I just could not turn down. But as many of you are aware, a lot has happened within the last month in the bigger scheme of things, and I found myself to become an essential worker. Needless to say, things are just getting more and more intense, and I really want to take some time out to really keep an eye on my health, both physical and mental, because like I said, things are just really getting more and more intense to the point where they're compensating me with a little bit of a raise. But do keep in mind that I'm still going to be releasing videos, but they're not going to be as high in frequency as they normally are. I'll do my best to get the news out to you guys really fast, and then any of the extras I'll just toss in whenever I can, because if we kind of look at the way that the world is going, you know, me missing a couple reviews and some fashion stuff isn't necessarily going to be the end of things. However, other things are really changing the game. Regardless, without ado, let's go ahead and get dressed. Now, as always, we start things off with a little bit of a reminder. You'll be able to find the color codes for all of these looks listed down in the description box below. And just in case you're curious as to how I actually feel about Miss Titania Prime's model, well, I've got an in-depth video on that I will leave linked down there, as well as in the top corner, just in case you're curious. Now, we're kicking things off with our iconic rose gold look, and yes, I'm fully aware that a dark primary does tend to bring out her more mosquito-like features, but you know, we've got a lot of different looks to go through, and I did want to put a dark color on the primary, at least this once. Now, one of the things that I do want to show off is, as you can see, the primary and secondary are both very neutral tones, and that makes for an easy swap on the tertiary where we put on a little pop of color. So we're going to go ahead and swap through a couple so that you can kind of get some inspo for how this works. So as you can see right here, having those 2 base tones really anchor things, adding in another color, and then swapping out the energy colors, because those butterflies definitely influence the look a lot. You can really change how this feels overall. In fact, one of my favorite tones is right about here, this minty tealy green. Really love the look of that, and I actually wanted to play around with it. But you know what, if y'all want to make a look out of it, feel free to do so. But as you can see, having those 2 grounding tones really helps with the rest of this look, and to kind of give you a nice starting point to work off of. I get it, it's not the most exciting thing out there, however, it does lay the groundwork. Alright? Next up, we have the look that I premiered with the Fairy Queen, and I really wanted to subvert the fact that her primary had to be dark. However, I didn't want to go too light on this one, because I feel like the depth and the richness of this kind of antique-y cream allows all of the textures to really show through. I'm actually a big fan of this, and I felt like if I went any lighter, it would look almost brightish. Does that sound crazy, right? In fact, I did kind of a little bit of a monochromatic moment with the primary and tertiary, kind of being off-white creams and relegating the pop of color to the secondary, but not going too intense on it. I like how it's very monochrome, still a little bit warm, and it kind of shows you how you can layer similar colors to get a very pretty effect without being too in your face. Now, let's go ahead and jump into the different armors that I've been playing around with her, because there are some really surprisingly good ones. Now, I know some of y'all may not be into this, but I kind of like the Cirrus on this one. I get it, it's weird, it's floppy, but she's in the air, and it's clouds, and it's just kind of wispy and flying around. So part of me is I don't hate it, Plus, it doesn't clip as bad as some of the other armors do with her butterflies, and you'll find that that's actually a big thing with her design, is there's a lot of clippage. So I really did like the Cirrus. I know it sounds nuts. The other one that I really liked, but you have to kind of play around with the colors on this one, is the Etheria set. I actually think that this looks really, really good on her. So what you'll see right here is that it just kind of fits, and it fits like scarily well. I was like, is this kind of sort of made for her or something? Let's see. As you can see, look at those shapes. Look at those shapes that we've got going on. No crazy clipping on the shoulder. It kind of lays on her just right. So part of me is like, ooh, look at this. Even the leg. Look at how the leg kind of like flares out. It almost mimics the weird banana leaf details that they've got going on her. I feel like it's just a really, really good fit. And that, of course, came with the deluxe for Harrow. So just in case you want to check that one out, that one's really good. The It's All one has a little bit of weirdness when it comes to the chest piece, but the arms and legs actually kind of like look really, really nice on her as well. I've become a big fan of that. Now, there is also like the Sigma 6, which works well with her. Not so much on the arms, but it's definitely not one of those ones that kind of like overtake. Where is this goddamn It's All one? I know it's in alphabetic order, and I know that I'm probably just going by it a million times over. There it is. So as you can see, the It's All one fits really well on the legs, fits really nicely on the arm. A little bit wonky on the chest, but it still really does look fantastic. What else? I like the Amugi on this one too. It's one of those surprising ones. Even on the shoulder, you would think that it would have a lot more clipping than it does, but it actually is not that bad. I think the worst culprit, see, it's look at it. There's like barely any clippage going on over there. I think the biggest culprit though is when it comes to her feet, because the Amugi does have that kind of like over the foot guard kind of thing that it's got going on, and it kind of like sticks out there, but you could almost think of that as like a thorn. So I don't know, me personally, I really like that one as well. There's maybe one more that I would suggest. Acanthus was not bad at all. In fact, I really, really love the way that it looks on the legs. That's one. I did not like the chest piece on that though. I also like the Dex. I know I'm only showing you the knee bits because I've been rambling on with these armors. I like the Dex pieces. However, one thing that I will say is I don't like the shoulder guards on her because of the weird floppy ridiculous bit. So part of me is like, oh, it would have been such a good set, but it kind of like tends to crinkle and it tends to like clip. Like it looks like it's trying to go over the butterflies, but it's kind of not. I don't know. It's really up to you guys and how you feel about it, but I don't think it's the worst. I wish that they had just kind of like knocked off that weird nub and it would feel a lot better. Ito looks really, really good on her. Another one that I wanted to mention was the Atavis. The Atavis looks good on her as well. It gives her a nice different body shape. A lot of armors tend to work nicely with her. However, the ones that I really did want to highlight was the Etheria set, because I was like, whoa, this one fits so nicely that it's kind of nuts. But again, she works really, really well with a lot of things. Even the Umbra set. See, I'm just going to go on and on and on if I don't stop myself right now. But check out all of the ones that I mentioned, especially the Etheria, because that one is fantastic. Now, for our last look, I really want to do something a bit more intense. The first two looks were more neutral and kind of like played into some monochromes. Some things were a little more subtle. This one, I wanted a nice, strong pop of color on the secondary. And as soon as I spotted this gorgeous kind of like slightly orangey red, and the way that it kind of like peaked from her helmet, how you could kind of keep the helmet fairly dark, and then you just had that little red jaw, I was like, okay, I'm in. I definitely want to go ahead and work with this. So I paired it with a kind of like a deep, dark, tealy navy. I was even thinking of going a little bit darker than that, but a lot of people that had seen this on stream had said it kind of looks black already. So I figured, you know what? Let's make this an almost black teal, and that is where I kind of wanted to roll with this look. There's something about it, and maybe it is just the way that the jaw peeks out from the helmet, that makes me feel like it's a little bit samurai-esque, and I'm kind of super duper digging on it. Plus, it's just different from the other looks that I had played around with. So this is definitely something that you should try out too. In fact, I would say cycle through, you know, like I was saying earlier, keep the rest of the look neutral and then start cycling through different tones and seeing how that could possibly work for your look. In fact, that's how I do a lot of looks, is I will isolate out a specific section like primary, secondary, tertiary, and like play with some color on there and then start building the looks from there. If I find something really, really inspirational, like I did with this gorgeous red. Now, let's move on to Syandanas, because let me tell you right now, while there are a lot of things that don't work, there are a lot of things that do work, which is really what surprised me with DE's failure to provide a good Syandana that paired well with Miss Titania. Because I was like, yo, y'all been working with this model for a while and you don't realize the challenges in what you're trying to do with her. So as you can see, we've got Officium. Officium pairs well with so many different things. But I wanted to show this next one off. This is not one that I myself would personally use, but it's a big Syandana. It's big. And a part of me is like, yo, this fits though. But y'all couldn't make your own shit fit? So as you can see, we have the Arcturus Syandana, and as you can see, it's a big Syandana, right? It's hefty, we got energy effects, it's like off or back, but as you can see, it's just got some minor clipping issues right there, but aside from that, it fits, right? We don't have any weird drooping, laying issues. I was just like, DE, yo, what are you doing? But I know that some of you guys out there would really enjoy something this big and in your face. Me personally, I'm actually a big fan of the Bennu Syandana, and if I was making a Prime Syandana for Miss Titania Prime, it would look a lot like this, except it would encompass more of like butterfly wings. However, she does have abilities like Lantern, which kind of light things up, so I'm thinking like a little fire effect off of her back is not bad at all. And you know, in some cases you can kind of see a little bit peeking out from behind, which I totally freaking support. Now, this next one is a little bit unfortunate. It was created by an Italian creator. We have our Corona Syandana, and I know it's probably not appropriate in this time and place, but I like the fact that it really fits with her arm and shoulder pieces. There are some times where this Syandana kind of juts out a little bit too much from the back, but with the way Miss Titania is set up, it actually works quite well with her frame. Again, probably not the most appropriate, but you can't deny that it does look freaking good, right? Let's keep scrolling away from this thing. Let's take a quick look at what DE was trying to pitch us. We got weird Saki thing whose colors and texture don't even quite match. Same thing goes for that. Ooh, we just gonna move right along to the next Syandana that I like better than this one. This is also another one. I'm not saying that this is necessarily something that I would wear, but as you can see, if you kind of chopped off the bottom fin a little bit, but you kind of played around with the top fins, maybe just shorten it out, you could really kind of like lay into this dragon fairy look, right? So part of me is like, there's so many options. I don't like this either, but I know some of y'all will. So I'm just putting that out there as an option. I know that I should only be naming the ones that I really like, but I know you're going to talk about it. I really like the new Radia Syandana, which comes with the new Nova Deluxe or Nova Deluxe Part 2. I think that that one looks really, really nice on her as well. I'm not putting the butterfly wings on there. It's just redundant at this point. I really like the stick Syandana. Again, earlier I was talking about the whole lantern thing. So it's almost like having a lantern on her back, which is pretty freaking cool. The Tello Syandana is just a classic and sits well on so many different frames. And that's basically all of the ones that I wanted to go ahead and show you. I think my favorite of the bunch is Corona. The Lantern and Officium, those are probably my favorites of the bunch. So definitely go ahead and check them out and play around with the different looks that you can come up with them. Okay, so I've swapped into something a little bit more neutral so that we can take a look at how the different alt helms and skins actually work on Miss Titania Prime. Now, as many of you guys know, I like to do this fairly blind so that you guys can have an honest reaction as to how I feel about them, but let's jump on in. And as you can see, we have the original Titania helmet, and it just does not look good. It's weird because the balance is really off on this one, and the texture is as well. Like, you can see how this one's a bit brighter than the actual body piece, and that has a lot more of the color mapping, so it's a little bit lighter. Let's take a look at the Ori helmet right here. Again, it's very similar. I feel like you could kind of get away with this one for sure, but again, like I was saying, it feels like there's a lot of that cream color in there up top, which is not the way that the Prime is kind of like set up, so I'm not super duper fond of it. As you can see right here, we have the Empress helmet, so we will be doing a video on that eventually, and actually, that's not bad. That is not terrible. Like I said, that there is some texture differences between, you know, the waist and the helmet. But, I mean, if you really want to rock that helmet, you could probably rock that helmet. Next up, we have the Mab helmet. Did I ever really enjoy this one? Did I ever really wear this one? I don't ever remember wearing this helmet ever. I think this is like the first time I've looked at this helmet. I don't know how that happened, but she looks a little bit like Wukong here, and I'm not sure if I like it. It's not terrible with the skin though, so if you want to use it, feel free to. And then we have the Unseelie helmet. This one is by Reiku. I do not like how this one looks at all. As many of you guys know, Reiku doesn't do too many metallics on his stuff, so that's a really odd juxtaposition. As you can see, it's got like an orange jaw, basically. And I don't think that it's the greatest fit. So let's go ahead and toss on the Prime helmet, and then let's work on the body. Now, as you can see right here, we do have the Solstice skin on there. I wonder if we could do, no, it's not going to let us do a, what is it called? An overlay with the Prime. So let's take a look at the Empress skin and how that, oh, that's actually not bad at all. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, the Empress helmet worked on the, normal body, so, or at least the Prime body, so I shouldn't be too surprised that this works, but I don't hate it. I don't hate it at all. Now let's take a look at the regular Titania skin, which it actually doesn't look terrible on it, and it just reminds me how much of the metals are lacking on the actual back fins. So this, not bad. I will say that for sure. Now, let's go ahead and toss on the Unseelie skin real quick. And what we're going to do is we're going to equip it. And then we're going to do toggle Prime details. You know what? I don't hate it. I definitely don't. I think that, like, with the right... No, you know what it is? It's because of the fact that the tertiary has the... What is it called? Is all over the legs and the arms. And that's where her metallics are. So it's kind of like the metallics are and the mattes are on the same channel. I mean, I think that there is a way that you could probably work with that look and kind of maybe do like a dark gray metallic and then it'll be dark gray on the legs. But in all honesty, my life is too intense for that right now and I don't want to fuck with it. So we're just going to go ahead and keep Titania Prime skin on her Titania Prime head. And that's the way that it's going to go. But as some of you guys have pointed out to me, yes, the Empress skin actually pairs quite well with this. Regardless, that kind of brings this video to an end. Let me know which look of mine, it's been a long day, has been your favorite. Toss that down in the comments below. And as always, love somebody, hurt nobody, and for the love of God, please wash your hands and do your distancing of sociality. Like I said, it's been a long day. I can't talk anymore. I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.